what's going on, guys? It's Cynical and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts 3 video. Today for you guys, I wanted to take one hot minute away from the Let's Play to sit down and absolutely nerd out about an aspect of Kingdom Hearts 3 that I'm absolutely loving so far. This was something that I was meaning to talk about before the release of Kingdom Hearts 3, as this was actually briefly shown off to us during that 120-second commercial trailer for the game, but unfortunately around that time there was just so much happening with Kingdom Hearts 3 that we did unfortunately overlook it. But now that we actually have like the full game for ourselves and that we can indulge in it for ourselves, I thought this would be the prime time to talk about this beautiful manifestation of darkness that is none other than Rage Form. Yes, Kingdom Hearts 3's very own version of Anti-Form. Now, like I said, Rage Form was actually briefly shown off during that 120-second commercial trailer that was released about 2 weeks before the launch of the game. It didn't really show off too much in the ways of gameplay and didn't really tell us much as to exactly how this form works, but like I said, now that we actually have the game, I thought we'd just nerd out about it, give you guys a little bit of information as to exactly how this form works, and appreciate just how absolutely badass this form is. Now, if we flip back to 2006, your boy was only a small child at the time, proudly wearing his SpongeBob undies. This was the year that I first got to play Kingdom Hearts 2, as of course it was the release year, and I remember going through the game for the very first time was an absolute treat from left to right. But one of the most pivotal moments throughout that game that has always stuck out to me is that moment that I randomly got flicked into Anti-Form, where Sora gets chucked into a dark state, says a big fuck you to the Keyblade, and decides to go around the place Titan slapping anything in his pathway, all while running on all fours. Yeah, it's an absolutely savage, quite literally savage form, which would probably have to go down as one of the coolest forms for Kingdom Hearts 2, aside from that of Final Form, due to just how unique and different it is compared to other forms. So Kingdom Hearts 3 brings this back with Rage Form, however though it's a little bit different, although admittedly I gotta say that this version of it is actually a little bit cooler, so let's deep dive into this coolness. Sora can once again throw himself into a dark state where he becomes enveloped in darkness, with the dank, dark stank emitting from Sora's clothing, the red eyes, the running around the place looking like he's desperate for that next hit, and these dark looking spaghetti effects that come out of the ground every step Sora takes. Now, Rage Form, however, is not a one-to-one for that of Anti-Form. It doesn't work the exact same, and in actual fact, you could probably look at Rage Form as being an entirely different form. Now, the general aesthetic and style of the form looks very similar to that of Anti-Form. Like I was explaining, he's got all those darkness effects swirling around him with the red eyes and the dark clothing, but this time, instead of Sora fighting without a Keyblade, Sora, interestingly enough, holds onto his Keyblade whilst he's in Rage Form and uses it within the Rage Form attacks. Of course, Anti-Form ditches the Keyblade and Sora attacks with his fists, which admittedly is a little bit more badass, but to be fair, the attacks that Rage Form can pump out, even Darkness itself would be impressed. Now, Anti-Form was activated in Kingdom Hearts 2 by essentially completely random. However though, the more that you would use a Drive Form in Kingdom Hearts 2, the more likely it would be for Sora to randomly change into Anti-Form the next time he would switch into a Drive Form, unless of course you were switching into Final Form, which always puts you into Final Form. Kingdom Hearts 3's is different. When Sora is on critical health, it seems to be that there is about a 50% chance of Rage Form appearing as a situation command. Also note that the gauge doesn't have to be stacked in order for this situation command to appear. Rage Form will just simply appear if Sora is on critical health. Now, like I said, this seems to be a 50-50 sort of thing. The Rage Form situation command doesn't always pop up when he's on critical, but most of the time when Sora does hit that critical health mark, generally Rage Form will pop up. Now, you cannot use Magic while in this form, which is the exact same as, of course, Anti-Form, which ultimately means that you cannot heal while you're in this form. Items are also disabled, so just like Anti-Form, there is absolutely no means of self-healing. However though, when you do go into Rage Form, the form does completely heal you. Unlike any other Keyblade transformation form in the game, Rage Form is the only form in the game that will completely heal Sora upon activation. This is no doubt to accommodate for the risk charge situation command. The combos consist of a lot of fast-based attacks, like the attack speed while you're in this form is pretty damn insane, and also the attack radius too, as you're swinging the Keyblade absolutely all over the place. Sora can also perform his usual mobility abilities whilst in this form as well, like performing dodges, slides as well as guard, and the animations for those abilities while in this form are unique too. I especially like the guard. It reminds me of Dark Guard from Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. Riku is the only one that can use that, but it reminds me of that ability. It looks super cool. And then the dodge is like absolutely amazing. It sort of reminds me of Mirage Staff's dodge, but it works as sort of like a phase dodge, which is handy as for just zipping all around the place. Now, Antiform couldn't perform these sort of abilities like guard, air slide, or dodge. Rather, the only other unique special ability that Antiform had in the sense of mobility was called Anti-Glide, where if you were locked onto an enemy, Sora would glide back and then hone on into his target. This was pretty useful as Antiform was all about being up close to your enemies. The Rage form can no longer perform this ability. Honestly, it doesn't bother me too much considering that we can both air slide and dodge as well as guard all together in this form, so that kind of makes up for it. Now, the form itself doesn't really have too much to it other than being able to use your standard attacks, but of course you won't be using magic in this form, so you're essentially just focusing on basic combos. However, though, we do have one special ability to use, and that is Risk Charge. Now, we can use this up to a total of 3 times, and every single time Sora uses this, a small fragment of what I'm guessing is either Sora's heart or maybe the hearts that are within Sora appears with outside of him and starts like floating around and orbiting him. Every single time you activate this, it halves the current amount of HP you have, but in return also increases your current damage output. Rage form can become incredibly strong once you've risk charged a total of 3 times. Also keep in mind that each time you risk charge as well, the duration that is remaining to do your next risk charge is also slightly increased. Now, like I said, you can only do this a total of 3 times, and on your 3rd time, you'll then notice that Risk Charge will then change to Finisher, and you can then activate Rage Form's Finisher, which is absolutely insane. It like summons up all these demonic porcupine spiky ball thingies, and like anything in the general area is just dead. It's just plain fucking dead. Now, the thing that I found with Rage Form is, like I said, when you're using Risk Charge, it does half your HP, which is a risky move because, of course, you are losing HP, but in that sacrifice, you are benefiting from increased damage. Anti-Form has always been known as a very strong form, but also risky at the same time because you don't have healing capabilities, and you also can't revert out of Anti-Form until the drive gauge has completely depleted. Whereas the risk of Rage Form isn't as great as Anti-Form, I feel, because, well, for one, Donald and Goofy still stay in your party when you go into Rage Form. If you guys don't know, Donald and Goofy get chucked out of your party when you're in Anti-Form in Kingdom Hearts 2, so this means while you're in Rage Form in Kingdom Hearts 3, Donald can still heal you, and trust me, this happens most of the time, especially when you're on your 3rd risk charge and your health really is critically low. Most of the time, Donald will come to your aid to completely heal you back to full health, even though you're on your 3rd risk charge. So with Donald being there, it doesn't really make the whole risk side of Rage Form all too worrisome. But all around, I just gotta say that this form is absolutely beautiful, and in actual fact, this has probably gotta be like one of my most favorite forms to actually utilize in the game so far. I think it's so cool though that Sora does hold onto the Keyblade whilst in this form. Now, I'm not too sure if I'm looking too much into this, but it could insinuate the fact that Sora now has a little bit more control over this dark state that he can activate. Also, with Rage Form appearing a lot more frequently compared to how often Anti-Form appeared in Kingdom Hearts 2, that too could also be something that might insinuate Sora's better control over this dark form. Now, in regards to the lore side of things for both Anti-Form as well as Rage Form, I don't want to speak on things just yet until I've actually completely finished Kingdom Hearts 3 for myself. Yes, boys, we've still got a little ways to go. I know at this point all of you guys have finished, and trust me, I've seen like a lot of teasers and a lot of people losing their shits and stuff. I'm nervous. But I am hoping that maybe somewhere towards the end of the game, maybe something is said or explained that better explains as to why Sora is able to tap into these dark states. Nothing was said in Kingdom Hearts 2. Anti-Form was really just a completely random thing with no real context or backlog to it, although many have theorized that it could have something to do with when Sora stabbed himself at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 and became a Heartless, but not long after was saved by the light of Kairi and restored back to his human form. Anti-Form as well as Rage Form could be lingering remnants of the Heartless that Sora once was. Now guys, guys, that is going to conclude today's video. We're back on track with the Let's Play. Also guys, speaking of which, I just want to say thank you dudes so much for the continued support on the Let's Play so far. I also want to mention that you guys have been asking for longer episodes and parts of the Kingdom Hearts 3 Let's Play. Do not stress out, my dudes. Your voices are heard. Episodes will be longer once we get up to part 13. I have been putting out some posts on both YouTube as well as Twitter about this, but I understand not all of you guys are going to see that stuff, so just letting you guys know right now, the Let's Play parts and episodes will be longer. However guys, be sure to leave your thoughts and opinions about Rage Form in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what you guys think. With all that being said though guys, I'm Cynical. Hopefully you dudes are having a fantastic day, and until next time guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.